Hello, everyone. This is the Brothers Podcast Pondering. Just me today for the awaited video of me doing my little observations and review on Dragon Ball Z movie, The Dead Zone. I've actually got some notes here, 5 pages of notes. I'm going to read through them, I'm going to tell you my thoughts, and I did a general score. So, first thing I want to say is I thought I was going to have a really horrible time watching Dead Zone. I really don't like that film, but I really thought I didn't. But when watching it this time, I actually found it entertaining, and actually it fits better than most of the other films, and I'll give it that credit. Set between end of Piccolo Jr., beginning of Z, it fits quite well. Piccolo doesn't know Special Beam Cannon, Goku's still stronger, but the rivalry is still there. Kami's still relevant, it's all good. So, let's begin with the opening scene where Piccolo screams. That's the opening of the film, I kid you not. Piccolo just screams, and it's like, okay, that's okay, kid, but like, it's very strange and just a random scene in general. But then turns shocked at these people running. Garlic Jr., who turn out to be Garlic Jr.'s henchmen, but like running in the middle of the air when they could just fly normally. It doesn't make sense. And then, like, they're just really quick. And later on, I'll talk about that a bit more on how, like, that sort of running doesn't really make too much sense. But when Piccolo's knocked down by everyone, obviously quickly overwhelmed, not expecting anything, it shows Garlic Jr. like shadowed. But the thing is, he's in his muscular form, and it doesn't really. And this is the issue. One of the issues I have with this film is it doesn't explain why he suppresses that form at all. We don't understand why. The ending scene possibly explains why, but I'll get to there when I get to it. Thing I was impressed about is then following that is that Chi Chi actually tries to defend Gohan for once. Doesn't like from OG Dragon Ball and She does next to nothing. Obviously, the anime kind of filters it out a bit, so she sort of does stuff. But like in this one, she actually did try to defend Gohan, and to her credit, she still had some skill, even though she got knocked back really quick and didn't actually do anything to them. You could see that she was still a fighter, and it was just good to see. And you also see the Ox King get knocked down. And also, I just want to quickly mention, I've got this in my notes, mention strength of Ox King. Yeah, a lot of people I feel like underestimate the Ox King. He was trained by Master Roshi with Gohan. He was a rival of Gohan, a fellow student. Like, he's not going to be weak. Like, yeah, he's weak in comparison to Goku at the end of Dragon Ball, but he's got to be, for someone who can't shoot projectiles like the Kamehameha, like Ki, he can't really manifest Ki, but considering most humans, like Master Roshi took 50 years to train, I don't blame that he can't. So really, like, people need to stop, because I've seen a lot of people going, well, Hercule beats Ox King. I really much doubt it. Like, Ox King is really strong, in fairness. Like, it's very surprising that people don't seem to understand that the Ox King even is powerful. And then when you look at Chi Chi, she's a really gifted fighter as a human in general. At the end of Dragon Ball, which is stated, like, she's very talented and very skilled, even though Goku's already surpassed those limits, so it didn't really matter. But that's the point. Like, it's a lot strong. Anyway, it's tirade over. Another great thing about this film is following this, Goku actually shows concern for Gohan and is actually a great dad, a really good dad in this film. And he wants to go find Gohan, asking straight away to Chi Chi where Gohan went. And I've just realized now, I didn't write this in my notes, but Goku knows, like, he calls for the Nimbus, and he seems to go directly to Garlic Jr.'s mansion, even though he wasn't told where that was. He just seems to know, and fair enough, he could just sense the key, but it's just not mentioned. I think it's just a little weird that actually no one seems to have to search, they just seem to know things. Sorry, guys. Gohan, meanwhile, gets Gohan. Boy, that scene, he eats the apple and gets drunk by the apple. And honestly, Gohan in this film is amazing, and his trip scene was completely entertaining. Just annoying the henchman was really great. And I really enjoyed that section. Just an absolute thrill of that part of the film. And then obviously after that scene, it's then Golok Jr. gets his wish for immortality, which I do like because it's a little bit of a flip from the regular villains, like Piccolo, who had failed to get immortality. Pilaf had failed to get his wish for world domination, so it's quite interesting to see Golok Jr. actually gets the immortality as the only villain to get his immortality until Zamasu Dragon Ball Super. So, that's pretty impressive, if you ask me. And I just want to say, like, this film sort of redoes the Demon King Piccolo and Piccolo Jr. arcs, which it does really well and it's very entertaining. I just thought it was quite interesting how it merges the two arcs. I thought it was quite interesting. I like then after that when Kami arrives and Goku joins him, I quite like Kami delivering that backstory with Garlic Jr., how his dad was his rival to become Kami, but then turns evil. Like, I really enjoyed that sort of lore added in, even though it's not canon. I did really enjoy that kind of idea that, oh yeah, Kami had a rival, and he's so spiteful, he's so spiteful after being sealed away that he trains his kid with his evil ambitions to take over the world and become immortal. Like, that's just wild. That's really toxic. And then, just following that, Goku makes a really entertaining escape, jumping off the wall and outflanking the henchmen, where the henchmen then closely pursue. And then, like I say in the notes, whilst Kami fights Garlic Jr., the thing is, they sort of talk for the next 3 scenes and don't actually start fighting. It's kind of wants to avoid it. It's still Kami being such a pivotal character is quite good. And it's just Goku quickly gets manhandled by the henchmen. Like, it's insane. Like, they quickly grab him and then just chuck him to the ground. I think Goku does a really good recovery. And then powers up. And well, no, sorry. Wait, he kind of powers up, but not really. He's just sort of just preparing himself for battle. But once they like sort of throw him down, and then Goku sort of grasps himself, they don't even let Goku like get a breath of fresh air really, because then they power up and scream the most ridiculous like names, and this is where I don't really like the film, but it was hilarious. Like, I only like this for the humor, but like yelling, screaming gingerbread, tutti frutti, and cheese to then power up. It's honestly, that really seems like a Dragon Ball joke, and it's very funny when that happens. But like, they all act. It's the fact that that scene is taken so seriously. It's just so stupid, and that makes them more powerful. But then they do that run from the start, and this is what I was going to say. So from the beginning, when they run up at Piccolo, that means they activate that power. But why does them powering up with those techniques make them run in midair? At least it makes sense when they do it against Goku because they're running on the ground. But that's just really, really, really silly how that happens. Like, why is that a side effect? Again, that's never explained either. It's just a weird quirk that they have. Doesn't really matter because it doesn't really last too long. But Goku seems to struggle against them. Again, it just returns to Junior and Kami talking again. There's a lot of back and forth, but like, Goku seems to lock in like really well, and he begins to beat back the henchman, which was a really cool moment. And I really enjoyed that. But he loses focus, and he actually nearly loses to a key attack, which is pretty sloppy for Goku by this point in Dragon Ball. But he gets distracted because he's still looking for Gohan again, being a great dad in this film. And then he gets his he gets his ass saved by Krillin of all people. Krillin, like that's wild. The support character saves Goku in that moment. Though I don't think that blast would have killed Krillin. I think the movie likes to make you think that, but it just realistically never would have happened. Not long after Piccolo arrives Aura farming, wanting to return that revenge for what the henchmen did to him at the beginning of the film. As then, obviously, Piccolo. I see in the script Goku and Piccolo versus the henchmen. It's really Piccolo versus one of the henchmen, the strongest one, I assume, and then Goku versus the other two. Meanwhile, when they're about to fight as well, Krillin gets pissed on by Gohan. The best joke ever. Just so great, and like just the fact that Gohan's just off his trolley the entire time is just great. Um, it then quickly cuts though, by Garlic Jr. starting to beat Kami in the fight that they've only just started now. Like I said, it went back and forth like 2 or 3 times, and then their fight starts and Kami's losing, which it's like, how is that even possible? You know what I mean? Like, it's insane that Kami was on the back foot instantly, and Garlic Jr. didn't even transform, which is like the highest of disrespects, if you ask me, anyways. Goku and Piccolo start to fight the henchmen as Krillin goes to rescue Gohan. One of the henchmen goes to stop Krillin, but then Piccolo stops him pretty quick. And they begin to fight, and Krillin is just basically just holding on to Gohan for the rest of this film, really, until later. But Piccolo continues just to aura farm throughout this fight, like, and just absolutely dominating the fight with the henchman, even saying, like, just because you've knocked me down doesn't mean it determines the battle. Bro, Piccolo had decided the fate of that battle from the start, and very quickly defeats him and then kills him. I'm pretty sure he's dead by this point. So it's like the first kill of this film. A little bit of contrivance I have with this film actually was the next bit, because sorry, not the next bit, it's the bit after, but Kami is defeated by Garlic Jr. and goes to sort of do a final attack and push Garlic Jr. back to try and continue the fight. You kind of know it's going to be over though with Kami and Garlic Jr. Like, Kami clearly just can't keep up with that fight at all. But Goku then fights the other two henchmen, who weirdly grow swords out their legs or something, and he has to defend himself with the power pole, which I love. But Goku really clutches up against these two. Like, clearly, just the one henchman who Piccolo thought was making the difference, because Goku defeats him with a Kamehameha pretty quick. And seeing the hand fall from the green henchman was just wild. What was sad about it though was, like, Goku doesn't in general kill for no reason, and that's the issue I have. That was the issue I was going to mention. Goku doesn't kill in general. It's not really in his character. If he kills, it's because he has no other option. Sorry, but in this film, he very much just kills, and not for any real reason. But it's not canon, so I'm not too bothered by it. But it then quickly cuts to Kami wanting to sacrifice himself to beat Garlic Jr., even though he's immortal, so that plan would never work. And then you finally get the setup for the final battle, because Piccolo and Goku cut in, setting up the final showdown. And honestly, it's a great setup. You just seen both of them defeat the henchmen. You've seen Kami struggle, and I guess at this time, like, I don't think people quite give it credit on how impressive that is, because Kami at this point is like the third strongest character in the anime, other than Goku and Piccolo. It's Goku, Piccolo, and Kami. And the fact that Junior not even transformed, because we know he transforms, don't know why he suppresses. Again, I'm going to get to that once the ending scene, my thoughts on that. But, like, for Garlic Jr. to just be completely destroying Kami, it really does sort of bring attention to how, like, strong he actually is at the time. And when I first watched this film, because I watched Z first, then Dragon Ball, I really, really hate that because I really wish I'd watched Dragon Ball, but I was shown Dragon Ball Z first, so I didn't really appreciate just how strong Garlic Junior was. But anyways, Garlic Junior quickly realizes he's not going to beat Piccolo and Goku together like that, like in his normal state, so he immediately transforms, which again shows just how much stronger Goku and Piccolo are to Kami, and how seriously Garlic Jr. takes this fight. Interestingly enough, I just want to add earlier on near the start, just before Gohan, well, as Gohan's getting drunk off apples, Garlic Jr. does notice Gohan's potential and wants, and even before that, he wants, the only reason he keeps going is because he wants to train Gohan to be one of his elite warriors. Quite a clever plan, actually, and Garlic Jr. is a very impressive fighter when you think on the lines of he like understands who he can beat and who he can't, or how much power he's put in to beat someone, or if he sees potential, he knows he wants them on his side. So he's a very, very logical villain, which I didn't really think of, but I appreciate it when really taking time to notice on this film. But Goku and Piccolo get absolutely manhandled by Garlic Jr. He quickly splits past them like he's a prototype Broly. Like it's insane, tanking all their attacks and destroying his palace, whilst Krillin drops Gohan after being knocked out by the ceiling, which was just really funny. You should feel sorry for Gohan in that moment, but it's just the fact that Krillin had one job, and he failed, which is crazy. But like in all seriousness, sorry if you that my neck was a bit itchy, so if it, I keep sorry the mic. um, but like the way Garlic Jr. just completely dominated that beginning of the fight. It's a very short fight, admittedly, but it's just really intense at starting point. How he just blitzed past them and just shows like non-stop rage and power, which I thought was pretty interesting. And whilst he's ragdolling them around, Goku and Piccolo eventually, not well, yeah, eventually in the fight, it's pretty much halfway through the fight, they then decide to take off their weighted clothes, um, which does power them up considerably, shown at the start of Z, like they get considerably powerful, uh, because that was part of the training as the weighted clothes. And they have a little bit of banter, which I quite like. I really appreciate Piccolo and Goku's rivalry in this film. Um, but once they take off the weighted clothes and fight together in unison, it was quite cool seeing Goku run like in the tournament in Dragon Ball, and Piccolo sort of did the same thing, and it was quite nice to see. But the fight becomes a lot more level. Garlic Jr. actually seems to be overpowered by their combined power, destroying the rest of the palaces. Goku and Piccolo go to begin their rematch. they pretty much settled it with Garlic Jr. in like 2 seconds with the combined effort, and go, yeah, we're not even gonna check if he's still alive. We're finishing this battle right now. And meanwhile, Garlic Jr., being immortal, which wasn't mentioned to Goku no Piccolo, gets up and opens up the dead zone. Bearing in mind, Goku knew that the dragon had been used. He knew that. Yet he didn't assume Garlic Jr. had made some sort of wish like immortality. It's a bit of a slip up by Goku, I can't lie. It's just not really good. But either way, the dead zone's opened, and quite clearly the dead zone in the non-canon world, and obviously it's not in the canon, but like when you get trapped, it seems like even if you can open it from the outside world, you cannot open it inside. That's it. You seem to be stuck because Kami goes to go in, and presumably Kami can seal or open up the dead zone. I assume because his predecessor did so as well. I think because the story's a bit ambiguous on how he was sealed away, but that's how I took it. Anyways, it does look as though Garlic Jr. is going to take the win by this point. Like, it's kind of unfair considering Goku and Piccolo like quite easily overwhelmed Garlic Jr. So if I think correctly, Goku's power level without armor is around 400. Weighted clothes, sorry. Something like that, 422. And Piccolo's about 380, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm a bit rough. I haven't read the manga in a while. But, like, that's impressive because that means Garlic Jr. must be at least power level 700, which is roughly equivalent to half of Raditz's power, which is 1200. So that's really impressive, and just a bit of compliments to Garlic Jr. of how big of a threat he is by this film. But obviously, like Raditz, copying the early Saiyan saga a little bit as well, Gohan happens, crying for a really long time, really showing the ultimate crash out. And like it just shows how correct Garlic Jr. was on his senses on Gohan's potential. But like again, a bit of a annoyance. Gohan sort of cries for far too long. Kind of like he charges a kind of like spirit bomb or key attack. It's kind of like the spirit bomb, but it's like a key attack. Um, but it's not really animated all that well. It's mainly focused on Gohan. Probably should have been animated a bit better, and it's thrown really quickly, and it knocks Garlic Jr. out pretty fast. Um, it just launches him straight into the dead zone, and he's forever trapped being immortal, which I guess is what happens. Um, it all pretty much settles down pretty quick as the dead zone sort of crumbles like glass, and once all the dust settles, Goku, Krillin, and Gohan with Kami realize Gohan can't actually remember anything from his rage, knowing his dad's the strongest. Decides not going to tell Chi Chi, as they all go home, and Piccolo decides he wants to settle his rivalry with Goku a bit later, realizing it's probably not quite the time. And then it just cuts to underwater, and then there's a shot of the dead zone. This is what I want to talk about. The shot of the dead zone, Garlic Jr. looks really old. Now that either tells me two things: the fact that he can't die in the dead zone, he's just eternally aging, even though it had only been a couple seconds from when he was shown and looking really wrinkly. My second theory is why he suppresses his form. His form probably takes away his lifespan, is what I'm assuming, ignoring the filler arc, which had nothing to do with the movie and would have changed some things, I'm sure. But the fact that he de-transformed, and because he's immortal, he can't die, but it probably just rapidly aged his body, and that's why in the dead zone you can see that shard he's trying to break out. He looks really old. I'm assuming that's the consequence of using that power and that much. It probably stressed him, kind of like what Frieza does at 100%. And then credits roll, and that was the film. But really, what were my thoughts? I wrote a few things down here. Like I said, Goku is a great dad in this film. Absolutely amazing. For all the memes he's in this film, considering it's not canon, he's just a great example of a dad in this. Gohan unleashing his power was great. Again, the animation could have been better, but I really enjoyed like the idea of Gohan's potential being a big part of this film. I loved Kami's significance in this film, and Piccolo's and Goku's rivalry in that entire thing, not knowing, and then fighting each other, not knowing if they were truly gonna like work together, really, especially after OG Dragon Ball, which would be when you watch this film. It's a bit, it's tense. It's quite intense. Again, silly decisions though. Overall, there's like the animation, which the animation overall is quite good. It's like standard for the anime, but like the Gohan scene again, like I know I could bring that up a lot, but it was quite a big issue that it was the final attack, and it just really wasn't animated as well as it should have been. The screaming of seasonings was a bit silly, but overall, out of 10, I'm going to put this out of 10. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. I honestly expect to give this like a 3 out of 10. But during this experience and writing it, I really enjoyed it, and I would like it. It's actually surprised me. I'm really surprised, but I would give it a 6 out of 10 in total, overall, and that's my review for The Dead Zone. And next is World's Strongest, which I will do. I'll have to start watching it and writing it tomorrow, but I will record it the next day, kind of similar to this one. So if you enjoyed this review and this sort of little bit of in-depth opinions of certain things, what I liked about what I didn't, drop a like and subscribe, and I will make I'm going to make the other one anyways. I'm going to go through all of them, but just make sure you keep up to date and watch mine and my brother's videos together, because we talk about wider topics. If you don't really like what I'm talking about currently, like, I know not everyone's a fan of Dragon Ball, I'll obviously move on to like One Piece films. I'll move on to different films in general and series. So like, just put them down in the comments. Once I get through the Dragon Ball films, I will move on. But like I say, if you want wider topics, go to our Ponderings playlist, where we'll just talk about anything for the episodes. Once we start getting more views and more comments, we'll start talking about a more wider range of things. But for now, we're just sort of sticking to this list that we have, which is this. Probably won't get a good view of what was on there. I'm trying to keep it a little bit of a surprise. But yeah, thank you for watching and listening to my opinions. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like again, and just, yeah, thank you. Bye.